The following presentation shows the draft 2022 budget subject to change before second reading on February 17th, 2022. The RDOS Board of Directors encourages you to provide feedback before then. Here's RDOS Manager of Finance, Jim Zaffino.
The following presentation is a high-level overview of the budget, and it's 500 pages, and here it is. To view detailed budgets, please visit the RDOS Regional Connections interactive website. To review any of the slides presented in this video, please hit pause. The following slides provide information about the RDOS Legislative Foundation. Each regional district is a corporation. The RDOS has 9 electoral areas represented by rural directors elected to their position. The 6 municipalities represented on the board appoint their members. Regional districts are not taxing authorities. Regional districts do not tax municipalities. Regional district taxes are based on the services, not the location. Some regional district services are legislated, including general government, solid waste management plans, and E911 telecommunications. Most regional district services are by choice. Property in a rural area will receive their tax notices from the Surveyor of Taxes, and the taxes are paid to the province. The following slides cover taxes. To review any of these slides, please hit pause. The following slides provide information about the RDOS budget structure. A regional district is different than a municipality. Regional districts create a separate budget for every service it operates. For the 2022 budget, the RDOS has 156 separate services and therefore 156 separate budgets. Separate budgets ensure only those who participate in the service pay for the service. The budget process launched in October 2021. The budget includes approved change requests. Budget workshops were held November 5th and 9th, 2021. The provincial legislation requires the budget to be adopted by March 31st, 2022. The following slides provide information about RDOS services. You can hit pause at any time to review the slides. You can also visit RDOS Regional Connections to view detailed budgets. Regional services are services where the majority of the electoral areas and municipalities participate. For regional services, all properties in the municipality and electoral areas contribute. Regional services include heritage, conservation, corporate facilities, legislative services, and regional trails. Rural services are services where the majority of the electoral areas participate. For rural services, all properties in the electoral area contribute. Rural services include animal control, electoral area administration, and planning. Shared services are services where only those participating in the services pay for the shared services. Local services are services where only a defined group of properties within an electoral area participate. Examples include fire protection and water systems. Staff begin building budgets for each service in October. The 2022 budget is prepared along with the additional 4 years. New requests or changes come forward as program change requests. If approved, the item is added into the draft budget. The official title of the draft budget is 2022-2026 5-Year Financial Plan. The board can make changes to the budget up until it is adopted. Feedback from public consultation is presented to the board along with the budget bylaw for second and third reading and adoption. By legislation, the budget must be adopted by March 31st, 2022. This presentation is for Electoral Area G, and it talks about the budget as per first reading for 2022. First slide shows that Area G has 1.46% of the total assessment for the regional district as a whole, which means that the Area G pays 1.46% when we're looking at the services that everyone participates in. The assessment increase overall for Area G is an increase of 25.84%, where the average is 28.89%, which means Electoral Area G will have a lower overall tax burden for the services which G participates. So what the 25% actually talks about is, when you look at the increases in the property, the residential, the commercial, etc. If your property was worth $100,000 last year, it's worth 25.84% more in 2022. Administrative overhead is one area that directors have been concerned to talk about. They've directed staff to look at and present a recommendation by October 2022 to see if they want changes or to review any or keep it the same. The overhead in this case here is the support costs to run the organization, not the wages that are included. So for instance, for information services, the support costs would be not the staff wages, but the hardware, the software, the licensing, etc., to keep the doors open. This next slide talks about and shows the costs for the overhead. As you can see, the biggest single increase for 2022 is information services, and that's mostly because, as I just stated earlier, there's an increase for the hardware, the software, and also the licenses that we must pay for. So that has to be redistributed amongst 156 services, and there's a consistent formula based on a tier basis that redistributes it on a fair basis. The program change requests, each year the board is asked to look at program change requests, which means that there's expenses being asked to add to the budget which weren't there last year or the previous years. The first one would be the grant and aid requests. These are requests that are asked by different organizations to keep their doors open or help to keep the doors open. And as you can see, it shows the ask and which ones were approved and which ones were not. The next area of increase would be the program changes, where staff's required to do a business plan that the board would review and look at either increase in staff or increase in service level requests. Staff's required to show what areas and services would be have to pay for the increase and why, and also the costs. As you can see that it says from year 1 through year 5, so that the board doesn't get any surprises in the future years. So whatever they say in 2021 they're authorizing automatically gets increased in the further years. In this case here, you'll see that there's a parks ask economic development increase, and that's a service level increase, and there's an increase in the board training budget. On the cases for the economic training one, I believe that one was adjusted in 2022, so that may not be a full amount now. This is a continuation for the parks budget, so that it shows an ask for the parks area, the bylaw coordinator. This one here is for the engineering department. Increase hours for administration. One area I thought that you may be interested in is Area G, and that's for the capital projects that at one point the Area G paid in. All these capital projects that you see that I'll be showing you have been funded in prior years. There is no additional capital costs, or there's no additional taxes included. These are all funded from reserves that were collected in prior years, or they were funded from grants. And so this first one is emergency call system. This next one here is regional trails. This one here is a solid waste management plan. This is the capital requests for the Karameas and area fire protection. So this is where there's a partnership between the three areas. This one's Karameas area B and G recreation facilities. Rural disposal, Karameas B and G again, partnership. This is a comparison from 2021 to 2022 budget, just to show that there's no anomalies. It's fairly close from the previous year. The changes is there's 47 projects being carried forward from 2021 to 2022, worth $7.2 million, and there's one large capital project that's being funded through grants for $8 million, and that's for composting. Area G tax requisition is $972,000. That's a $21,135 increase, or a 2.2% increase in the requisition. However, once you take into account a non-market growth, the net tax increase is 0.99%. This is the material increase description of why there's an increase. It shows that for Area G what the consequences of it are. The budget increase, just to emphasize, just because there's a budget increase doesn't mean that the Area G would be absorbing it at the same percentage that increased, because you also have to take a look into account the assessment increases, and this is a continuation of the material increases. This is the Area G tax requisition. It shows that both by participating directors have a weight in there, and also the regional directors have also input in it. In this case here, just a reminder, the budget is voted on as a whole by the Regional District Board. However, in some cases, the director has input. They're recommending what it should be, but the board as a whole votes on it. This is just a continuation of the tax requisition with the additional services that are provided. This is the tax requisition as summarized for the municipalities, and this is the same thing, but at the electoral area level directors. The directors would vote on it, municipal and also board directors. This is the RDOS tax for property as valued below, and as you can see, the value goes from $500,000 to $1 million, and it shows what, based on the 2022 first reading budget, this is where we're at. I just emphasize that this is only the regional district budget, not the school tax, not the policing, and there's other taxes that the regional district has no control over. This is just what the regional district has control over. Continuation of the tax charges, one of the things that I found interesting is to do a analysis on a per capita basis. As you can see, the different per capita are materially different. So when you start with Princeton and go all the way to Area E, the more people that there are, the more services that you provide. It shows the benefit per person, and I just thought it's easily comparable, other than just say it's a $2 million or $3 million a tax requisition. This is just a straight pie graph that shows where everyone is in the regional district budget cycle, and this is information where you can review the budget. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. The board is looking forward to receiving your feedback on Draft Budget 2022.